Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to a very special edition of the show with a very special guest. Look who stumbled upon the Sea of Tranquility studios, Mr. Michael Romeo from Symphony X.
Hey, what's up, man?
What on, my friend?
I'm chilling, man. Just hanging out, talking to you.
There you go. There you go. Get some nice guitars in the background. We'll talk about gear and stuff later
Yeah,
on.
there's
But
quite a few
yeah,
of them.
exactly. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong
No.
with that. So it's actually cool we're talking now because I actually just saw you guys play at the Wellmont Theater in New Jersey just a couple of weeks ago. So your little U.S. tour, first in many years, just ended. So how cool was it for you guys to kind of get back together after all this, pandemic shit, and which is still going on, to get back
Yeah.
together and play in front of the fans and play together again for quite a few years now, what, 6-7 years?
Oh man, last time we played, I think was 2019. I think yeah, in Europe, South America maybe too. But that
Okay.
was the last time. And then yeah, the whole COVID thing, and so just being back out playing. I mean, it was honestly it was a little weird at first, because it's like man, I haven't done this in so long, and we're up there playing. It's like, oh yeah, I kind of remember what this was like. So the first couple shows, yeah, just kind of, like getting back on the bike and doing the thing. But it was awesome, because not only didn't we play, I mean, we're all kind of scattered where we live, so we didn't really see each other that much. So it was like finally, here's the band, we're all together, we're at rehearsal, and that was great. It was fun, and then playing and the fans were great, the places were really good, so it was definitely great, definitely
So there's
awesome.
no longer this little like hub of everybody located in Jersey anymore, right? Because you got a
Yeah,
few of you were scattered around. Although
yeah,
I must run into Mike LaPond like every freaking show I go to in the Jersey
yeah,
area. He is always there. It's
yeah.
always
But he's not in Jersey anymore. He's out of here. The taxes here are crushing us.
yeah. Well, I mean, I live in New York, so I know what
Yeah.
that's like.
Well, yeah, it's the same shit.
Yeah. Well, it must have felt good to play like a nice little tour because other than like occasional dates here and there, you guys haven't done like a lengthy tour here in the States in a while. So,
Yeah.
what major cities and areas did this tour take you on other than like the metropolitan area here?
I mean, the usual. New York, New Jersey, and out in L.A., Texas, Florida. I mean, everywhere. We're up in Canada, Montreal. Yeah, it was pretty much just doing the whole country, doing a little bit of Canada. I mean, it was great.
Cool. Now, you guys have been around for a while now. You have 25 years, Symphony X, lots of albums, lots of
Yeah,
really good albums.
no, thanks.
So I think most fans look at your catalog and it's like, wow, there's some great albums there. So obviously rich with great songs. So when you're going out on a tour, like
Yeah,
how hard is it for you to put
it's
together a set list that, is going to, motivate you guys as well as please the fans out there? Because there's a lot of great songs, right?
yeah,
You want to
no,
hit the sweet
dude,
spots.
totally right. I mean, it is hard, and this time too, since it wasn't a tour for an album. It was like, okay, anniversary. It's like, all right, we want to try to do something from every record, and then just that, trying to, all right, maybe we have a couple of this, couple of that, and then we'll try the order, and it's like, well, this one's not really working, so you're just trying to juggle all this stuff, and like you said, we want to play stuff that we feel good playing, and then songs that the people are into too. So yeah, I mean that takes a minute, always takes a minute. But I think this set it felt pretty good. It felt good because there was a little bit of everything along the way.
A couple of people I talked to love the fact that you guys pulled out the Odyssey and played that as your big kind of finale,
Mhm.
myself included. And then
Yeah,
there were a couple other people who were like, well, I love the Odyssey, but it's so long. They could have played like maybe two or three other songs instead of that. It's got to be tough to juggle that because you got like like many other prog metal and power metal bands out there. You guys have your epics and some
yeah,
really good ones. So it's got to be tough when you're trying to put together a 90-minute or pushing 2 hour set list. That's like, all right, we got one or two 15, 20-minute long songs in the set. And that means we can't play, maybe three or four 4-minute
mhm,
tracks, right? So that's
yeah.
got to be tough.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of knew we were gonna do the Odyssey just because it's a thing. So with all the other songs, it was, you know, trying to keep those, not shorter, but 5, 6 minutes or 4 or 5 minute rocker kind of thing, and then
Yeah.
have the big epic at the end. It just made sense for us, you know.
It worked. I thought it worked out really well. And yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you come back again, you change it up a little bit.
Oh
Right?
yeah, no, definitely. Next time, something totally different, you know,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of songs that we did rehearse, and it's like okay, and then last minute changes, and a lot of the times it is with time. You know, I remember we started playing Iconoclast, and it's like, oh yeah, this is gonna be great, and then it's like, oh, then there's the Odyssey, and it's like, oh my God, that's like 45 friggin' minutes right there. So
You can't do
it's
it.
like, okay, let's let's cut it back or try something different because I mean we had always done Iconoclast, so maybe there was something else from that record that we could do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's a friggin' juggling act all the time. But at the end of the day, it's we know that it's good. Like if we're down there practicing, I think we all know. If it's like, oh man, when is this friggin' song gonna end? Then it's like, yeah, that's not cool. But when the flow feels like it just has the momentum, it's like, okay, this is good. This will work.
Yeah, well, I think you guys have to feel it, right? Because in order
Yeah.
for fans to feel it, you guys got to feel it as well. So if you're not digging playing it, then what's the point, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
So one of the cool things about this tour, which I absolutely loved, is that you guys brought out a band with you who are kind of sort of the same ilk, but they really fit. I mean, Haken was a great choice for the touring partner on this tour. Yeah. And I often see lots of bands, metal, prog, whatever, who bring these open, touring partners out that really don't fit. And it's like, yeah, it's like they're just kind of there. I think Haken, at least the show I went to, went over really, really well. Yeah. I've been following them since the beginning. So how was it like playing with them every night?
No, I mean, they were great, good guys. I mean, that's important too, good dudes, just having, because you're going to be around them all month and you're in a working environment. So, I mean, those guys were awesome. And yeah, I think the crowd loved them too. And they got their thing. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's proggy and it's heavy. And then we have our thing. It's a little different, but I still think it worked. I mean, I know it worked. It worked good.
Yeah. All I had to do was look around me as they were playing to see, all right, even if they didn't know who they were, it fit. And they're like, wow, so maybe they discovered a new favorite band, that day, which is what it's all about, right?
Yeah, it definitely fit. Because I mean, there's been times, we'll play with whoever. You know what I mean? We'll play with whoever. And the last time that we did do a tour here was with Overkill. I mean, Overkill. I mean, they're like, they're like my bros.
Neighbors.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, they're thrashy and we're a little more prog metal, but we're still heavy and we still could hang, So yeah, we've had done tours with bands that, well, maybe, let's see if it works. And I mean, I always think it works because if everybody's getting along good and the people are having a good time, it's like, hey, yeah, maybe this band's a little more heavy, maybe this one's a little more thrashy, maybe this or that. But if the show feels solid and people have a good time and we have a good time, then it's totally cool by me.
That's what it's all about. Yeah. So the North American part of the tour is done, right? So you guys are taking a little bit of a break, but you got to get ready, right? Because you're going out again down Latin America, right? South America area. So where are you guys playing down there?
Brazil and Chile and I think there's some Mexico. I never know until like the day before, wherever they drop me
tell
off,
you to go.
wherever they drop me off, I'm like, okay, well, where's my guitar? I'm good to go, But that should be good too. Like this thing in Europe that we were supposed to do, there was just still some of these regulations, and there's just some problems with things. I'm hoping that down there, I'm pretty sure everything will be cool. It's like I don't know if there's what kind of paperwork you need, or got to get a test and you got to wear a mask and all this kind. I mean, we'll do whatever we can do, but sometimes it's like, man, it has to work. You know what I mean? It has to work. Like this Europe thing, there was some places that we could have been in trouble. If someone tested positive at the airport, and you got to be in quarantine, and then there goes all those shows and all that, and financial disaster. So that's why playing here was good. And playing Canada was pretty smooth. And I think South America will be the same.
I would assume you guys have a pretty big following down in South America. Because let me tell you, they love their power metal and prog metal down there.
Yeah, no,
Like, they
no
really
doubt.
get it. And I
Yeah.
would assume you guys go over a storm down there.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the first couple times we were there, years ago. It was insane. It was just like, holy crap, because for the longest time in the beginning, like when the band first started, it's like, we weren't really doing that much here in Jersey, and
Right.
what we were doing wasn't, I don't know, like the popular thing to do. And but then you go down there, you go to Japan or Europe or somewhere, and people are like, they love it. So it's like, oh wow, that's great. Let's go there then.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that should be good. How many dates you guys have planned approximately?
Oh, I think we're there for, I don't know, 10 days maybe, and a
Okay.
handful of shows. Yeah. Like I said, man, wherever they drop me off, that's what we're playing.
So at the Wellmont a couple weeks ago, towards the end of the set, so Russ looked over at you and said, Mike, what do you think? Maybe we'd come back in 2023 and
Yeah.
do this all over again. So,
Yeah.
which is great. But my question is, how about a new Symphony X record? Could that coincide with a tour next year?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, it's something that we have been working on. I come down here for the last, I don't know how many months, and trying to get some ideas. But before the tour, it was just slow. And like, since we hadn't been together, it was like kind of this disconnect a little bit. And I think once we got in the rehearsal place and we're playing and we're on the bus and we're hanging out and we're talking, now it's starting to feel like, okay, things are back to normal. And like I said, I have a lot of ideas, and I talked to Russ the other day, and about lyrics. You have any ideas? And I mean, we're still kind of looking, for that kind of ideas. For me anyway, if the album kind of has a topic or a theme or a concept or whatever, it's just easier to start to put it together, because at least you have roadmap. So like right now we're still like kind of searching for that thing. And but again, I think now that we're playing more, it's just
It'll come together.
getting back into it and getting inspired again.
Yeah, it's interesting how, like, with you guys, it works a little bit differently, because I think with other bands, it's just, wow, I'm working on this song and I'm working on this song, and everybody brings their ideas. But you guys are more like, well, let's come up with like a central theme that's going to tie the whole album together. And once that spark happens, then the rest of it falls into place.
Yeah,
it's a little bit different. That's interesting.
I mean, for me, it just helps,
Yeah.
because it was, like the Odyssey, for instance, or Paradise Lost. It's like, you kind of know what it has to be. I mean, with Paradise Lost, it's like, okay, it's this, heaven and hell thing, and it's probably going to be a little darker, and it's probably going to be a little heavier. Or the Odyssey, okay, it's going to be more of this epic and the fanfare and some orchestral kind of things. So at least you have a blueprint, to kind of move along. And now it's like, yeah, we don't have a blueprint right now. And and
Someone's
even me, I mean,
about that.
I've been looking. I mean, I've been like, trying to find something. But I just think all that time off and all that, all that crap, we all went through.
Yeah.
It's just trying to get back into that frame of mind of, being into it, being in the game.
Yeah, I hear you. By the way, Paradise Lost is my favorite album of yours, and I was pretty stoked that you guys represented it quite well in the set list this year.
Yeah, well,
so
thanks.
Very cool. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Well, this is probably a good segue into your latest solo record, right? War of the Worlds
Sure.
Part 2, which came out just a couple months ago, and really fantastic. I mean, I've said it on my review here on the channel and on the website. It's like, if you didn't know it was coming out and you kind of closed your eyes and heard it, you'd be like, oh, it sounds like a new Symphony X record. And then you see, oh, Dino DeLusick is singing. Well, he's kind of like the hot commodity right now. So how did you guys hook up for this second part of this kind of like little epic saga here? Because the first one was excellent as well. So how quickly did the second one come about, and how did you and Dino kind of hook up?
Well, when I started the first one, and whatever it was, 2018 or 17 maybe, I can't remember. The band kind of was on hiatus. We weren't sure what was happening. So I was like, okay, I'll do this solo record. And I had some ideas, and yeah, man, I wanted to try some different kind of things, and maybe more orchestral, more this cinematic thing, and maybe some electronic, maybe, whatever. So I just started to write, and that's that thing. I kind of had an idea for this War of the World, so it's going to be like kind of this space, kind of Star Warsy kind of thing, maybe, and just kept going, just kept writing, and a couple months down the road, I'm like, all right, let me see how much I have, and I look, and there's like way too much stuff. So even in the very beginning, that's why I knew there was going to be part 1 and 2. So I took half. I said, okay, here's part 1. These other songs I'll finish down the road. So, then we get down the road, and I just wanted to try something different, with the vocalist. Maybe, if I do more solo records, maybe a different guy, or, just try some different things. And I was talking to Simone Molaroni, and he helps me with these records, all the recording and mixing, and he's fantastic. And we were talking one day, and I said, yeah, I'm not sure about it, the vocals. I mean, I have a couple guys, a couple friends out there, and still not sure. And he said, why don't you call, my buddy Dino? He'd love to do it. So Simo put us in touch, and just I told him briefly what I had going on, and he was like, oh, dude, I'm a fan of the band. I'd love to do it. It would be awesome. So I just sent a couple, some of the songs, and he come back with some stuff, and I was like, man, this is friggin' perfect, right on point. So, and that was that. It was just, banged it out.
Yeah, I think the first thing I thought of when I heard the album was like, man, Dino sounded ferocious on this. It's like, yeah, it's a perfect fit, right?
I think he did say something in the beginning about, yeah, I want to be a little more aggressive. I'm like, huh, all right. I'm not going to argue with that. It's like, yeah, I mean, but I just say, do whatever you think fits, do you, you know what I mean? Yeah. Do you. And yeah, I think he did great. I mean, everybody, JD and Macaluso.
Macaluso's always awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's a monster. I mean, all the guys they're just monsters. So it's cool when they're friends, I'm close with all these guys, and they're great players, and they're cool guys, and they kind of get it. It's like, hey man, I want to kind of do this thing, and this is what it is. And then they just come on board. It's like, oh, I see what you want to do. I see what this is supposed to be. And it's like, yeah, man, just, make it your own. And it usually, it turns out great like that.
Yeah. I love the way you kind of mixed all the kind of cinematic, like orchestral film story type things,
yeah, I mean,
with the usual type of, metal prog bombast that you're known for. So it kind of really worked really well.
Yeah, I mean, I love all that stuff too. I mean, and that's the thing. It was just stuff that, maybe the band wouldn't go that far. Or maybe, there's some electronic and dubstep even, just little bits and pieces of things that, yeah, maybe the band would never do that kind of thing. But with the solo album, it's like, yeah, I mean, I can do whatever and
do whatever you want, right?
Just be crazy and experiment and have fun,
Yeah. So you also appeared recently on Arjen Lucason's Star One Revel in Time album, played a solo on there. Do you get asked to do that sort of thing quite often?
Yeah, I mean, once in a while. Yeah, once in a while. And again, usually it's, guys that we've met over the years, and oh yeah, I got this song, could you do the solo? And it's like, yeah, of course. It's actually kind of cool to just step away from, if you're writing here or whatever the hell I'm doing, and it's like, oh, here's some new song, and it's someone I know, and do your thing. Usually it's like, yeah, do your thing. Maybe it's like, okay, don't go bananas, but do what you think is right. That's the thing. Do what you think is right. And right. Usually everybody's cool, and it's just fun to do that stuff.
Cool. So 25 years of Symphony X, that's quite the achievement. I mean, bands, could only dream of lasting that long, and given the kind of quality you guys have done with the albums and the live shows. So what do you think? 30, 40, is that doable? You guys still feel that desire to keep this going for as long as you do it?
Make me feel old, man. Make me feel old here.
Mike, I'm probably older than you, so
I don't know, man. I'm not so sure. No, we'll do it until we can't do it. I mean, we all still love what we do, and we all.
And that's the important thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be real, and And yeah, you got to want to do it, and you have to have a good time. And I mean, luckily, we were able to keep it together and continue and uh, keep the guys together. And because I think the thing after being together so long, it's like, I know what pisses this one off, and this guy knows what pisses me off, and so it's like, it's a family, so you kind of know um, where everybody's at, and generally we get along great. So that's a plus too, and we all love playing, and this tour, I mean, really helped because we hadn't played for years,
Yeah.
and I was even not sure. I'm just like, man, I hope everything's going to be cool, and haven't seen these guys, we haven't rehearsed or anything. But yeah, the first practice, I mean, it was a little rusty, the first practice, but then it was just like, yeah, man, this is cool.
I mean, you guys are pros, so I'm sure after an hour or two, everything just kind of fell in place.
Yeah, maybe a little longer than an hour, but yeah. I mean, but yeah, it was cool. You could tell. It's like we all missed doing it. We all were excited to go and do it again. So as long as we can keep doing that for as long as as long as it takes.
Does it also help too for you guys that you've got such a loyal fan base that really embraces and is so positive about everything you do year in and year out? Because that's got to mean a lot, I would think.
It does. No, that's totally true because for me, I mean, for the whole band, but for me, I spend so much time down here and working on stuff and trying to come up with the riff that I think is interesting and hopefully people think is interesting. Or, we're working out melodies, we're working out choruses and the arrangement and the song and the production. And it's like, I mean, a lot goes into it, it really does. And I think that's why for us, every album, I don't know if it's better, but they're different, but there's still a level for us that, I mean, we got to be proud of it. We got to be
Oh,
happy
sure.
about it. So I think that, um, that's the thing. That's the thing. Just, I forgot what the hell we were even talking about. Now I was thinking about all these albums.
All those albums, all those great albums, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but that's the thing. As long as that is there, yeah, we were talking about keeping it going. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
But oh no, we were talking about the fans, the fans being behind it. And I think, yeah, for us, all the time that goes into it, and we're happy. Like we'll listen down here. It's like, oh my God, this is great. But hearing the fans, respond to it and they appreciate it the same way that we do, yeah, that tremendous. It's a tremendous thing. It really is. And that's weird. I never really we didn't talked about this kind of thing. It's like, yeah, the fans, they like this stuff. But you're right. I mean, they do get what we do, and I think they can tell that we still care. They care because they can tell that we still care.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you guys feel, or I guess you personally, do you feel that you've achieved like a certain level of success either at your expectation or above or below? Like like if you were to go back 25 years ago, like where did you want to be? Where did you think you guys would be? And now bring that up to today. And did you get there? Did you surpass it? Or are you just kind of happy where you are?
I'm just happy. I mean, when you're younger and kid and, oh man, I'm going to learn how to play guitar and I'm going to be in a band. And it's like, oh, hopefully we'll be able to play somewhere, or, make a couple dollars or something. You don't know. You're a kid. It's, you're happy, freaking sleeping in your car, for God's sake.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, looking back, it's like, and I mean, and I knew too, I think all of us knew it's not like we're doing like some kind of very commercial pop, it's a very specific thing. And, but it's stuff that we all like, and not saying that we'll try to make it complicated just to make it complicated. We'll, still try to write good songs and with good hooks, but yeah, a little more musical, a little more complex, but not overboard. But I mean, knowing that all along, it's like, okay, um, happy of where we're at, just looking at the way that things progress. Because yeah, I mean, we're not, we're not a pop band, or, we're our own thing. And luckily, again, the fans being behind us and all that turned out, I mean, I think it turned out great.
Cool. That's the important thing. Yeah, I think for me, speaking as a fan, I think one of the appealing or one of the many appealing things about your music is that it's always accessible, yet challenging at the same time. And I think that's a fine line that a lot of bands have a hard time doing. You know, you can make it heavy, you can make it technical when it needs to be, but it's gotta latch onto something in here, right? And I think you always have this way of writing, and Russell singing these melody lines and choruses that you just can't get them out of your head. And it's like it's hooky, it's melodic, yet it's heavy, it's proggy, it's all those things, and that can't be easy to do.
No, I mean, and it's not, and that's something, you know, if I'm writing something, I'm always thinking about that. I'm always thinking thinking about Rush. You know, Rush could have a song in 7, you know, and it's like people are singing along. I'm like, oh man, that's in 7.
Right.
And it's like, they, you know, it doesn't feel like, you know, like an awkward, uneven kind of meter, but it is. But they make it work, and they have the melody, and the riff is cool. And yeah, maybe it's in 7 or maybe it's in 5. And I always like that, because it's like, yeah, that's still a great song, regardless of what it is, but it's not so complicated. Well, maybe not including hemispheres, but you know, looking at you know, Moving Pictures, you know, the great Moving Pictures album, there is that complexity, that attention to detail, and there's great songs that most people can still enjoy listening to without thinking or getting out their calculator to figure out what time signature.
And I know you're a big Kansas fan too, and they did that so well. I mean, look at like Carry On Wayward Son, right? No. It's not a standard rock song by any means, but yet we've been singing it and wanting to hear that song for, you know, over 40 years now. So
definitely perfect example, Kansas. I mean, I love Kansas. And again, I mean, they're all great players, and they could be complex, but still at the core, there's always a great song or some kind of hook or some kind of riff, and that kind of gets you, you know. And it doesn't matter if it's this tempo or this time signature or this, you know, whatever. It's like, you know, is it cool and is it catchy? Yeah,
it's very important, because it keeps the listener coming back over and over and over again. And that's the great thing about your music. Before we let you go, can't let you go without talking gear, because we get a lot of people who are going to be watching the show that want to know what Mike Romeo is playing today. So any new guitars, amps, effects that you've kind of acquired, gotten into your arsenal recently that you maybe want to mention or talk about?
Yeah, dude, I'm so easy with gear. You know, I'm just like, if I find something that works, it's like, there's no need to change it. You know, so like my main guitars are the Caparisons. You know, they did my signature model, and I've been using it forever. You know, as long as I can remember. And only because too, I mean, when I was a kid, the first guitar I bought was this Kramer Pacer. I remember back in the day.
I remember.
And the neck was awesome, and you know, I just had 2 humbuckers. It had 1 volume, 1 switch, and I'm like, you know, I just got so used to it. So when I was talking to a Caparison about, you know, doing a signature model, it's like, you know, I kind of want that thing. It's like, I don't need 20 million knobs and all this other. That's like, just give me friggin' volume and you know, 2 humbuckers and a Floyd Rose. But I did send them
Floyd. That's it.
I did send them the neck. I mean, I pulled the neck off this old Kramer, and I said, because it's a little bit. There's a little more meat on it. It's not like super thin neck. And for me, like, when it's too thin, my hands start to get like that, and I just like more of the grip. And that neck had it, so I'd send it to them, and they kind of, you know, did their thing with it. So that's why these Caparisons, it's like, it just feels like the guitar I played my whole life. So, you know, again, simple. I mean, they sent me a 7-string because on the solo record I wanted to try something a little different. So that's a little different. You know, I never had a 7-string. But it's not, you know, my main guitar or anything. It's just like, you know, another one of these, you know, they're there if I need them. You know, my wife, you know, what are you doing with all those guitars? I might need them. You know, I might need them for something.
You never know. You never know.
We got a banjo and a ukulele. I was like, what do you do with that? I'm like, oh, you never know. You know, I might use it for something. But
tried out one of those Strandbergs yet? They look
what intriguing.
Is it? The Strandberg, the headless guitar.
Is that what the
Everybody's
no.
playing them now. Yeah, they're weird shaped, and yeah,
Yeah, it's too weird. I'm not. Yeah, it's too weird for me. I'm old school guy. You know what I mean? It's like,
Strat style, Floyd Rose, couple humbuckers. That's it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, there might be a certain instance on a record. I'll try something different. I'll try, maybe I'll just plug in the Strat for that kind of thing, or or just some kind of different tone. But look, for me, like the main guitar, yeah, just that thing, that Strat body, two humbuckers, Floyd Rose, the comparisons, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I call it Whitey because you always are playing Whitey. It's like you always have.
Again, man, it's like, where the hell is this thing? Hold on. Oh God, this thing weighs a ton. This is the one. This is like my old crane. I broke the headstock and it got glued back on at some point. So we used to say Kramer.
Used to.
But this is it. And it used to kind of be white. It's all,
Yeah, it's faded now. Yeah. It's more cream now, right? Is that when white goes to cream when it fades a little bit, I think?
Yeah. But that was like my guitar. When I was young and I was practicing, that was it, man. We were inseparable, me and that thing. So it just seemed like, okay, if I'm gonna do my own signature model, it's got to be like that.
Based on that. Yeah.
And that's why they're all white.
Nothing wrong with that. Hey, you go with what you like, right?
It's just the thing, man. It's a sentimental thing, I guess.
So when you were young and practicing, who was the one guy that
Randy Rhoads.
Who's that?
Randy Rhoads. Randy Rhoads.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, when I first started playing, I mean, it was playing like, Sabbath and Priest and learning AC/DC and Zeppelin and all that. But I think Randy Rhoads was like the first guy that was like, oh man, this is like, him and Eddie, those two guys we had back then, that really made me see more, the classical thing, a little more of the phrasing and some of the speed. And, then of course it was Yngwie and that kind of thing. But Randy was like, yeah, the first guy that really made me practice.
It's a shame we didn't have him around for longer, right?
Yeah, no, it definitely is.
Yeah, but those two Ozzy albums is a boatload of riffs and solos on there that'll stand the test of time.
Yeah, man, two masterpieces, just friggin' masterpieces.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, those were the guys, and this old Kramer, every day just practicing and practicing. So again, just talking about the new stuff, it's like, yeah, just so used to that thing. So comparison, put these guitars together, and when I got them, it was just like, oh my God, it feels like my guitar.
You can tell when you watch you play on stage. I mean, it looks effortless. It looks to me like you have spent so many hours with this instrument that like you guys are attached at the hip.
Yeah.
It's just no effort there, and it's just you just glide all over the place. It's like Mike makes it look easy.
Yeah.
I wish it was that easy for me. Unfortunately,
man. It's easy. Come on, man. It's easy.
I wish.
Yeah.
But, cool. Well, Mike, thanks so much for stopping by here today and talking with us. I really appreciate it. It was good catching up with you.
Yeah, awesome, man. Good.
Mike and I haven't talked in many years, so this
was good chat, man. Good chat.
Yeah. So everybody go check out War of the Worlds Part 2, the latest Michael Romeo solo album, Inside Out Records, right? It's Inside Out.
Yeah, it's Inside Out.
And it's a good one. And if you're living down in South America or down that area down there or Central America, hopefully you get a chance to see Symphony X on the road in just a couple of weeks, right? It starts.
Yeah, we leave. We're leaving like the 25th or something. I think the first show is the 27th. So yeah, we'll be there for like, I don't know, a week and a half, a little under 2 weeks. And then we're going to come back and like really start seriously talking about a record and moving that forward. And then into next year, it's like, yeah, let's do some more touring again. And hopefully the record will be done. And still, even if it's not, just playing again for us it was such a good thing, man. It was so cool. It was just so cool to go back because, I mean, there was some times where I'm like, oh man, is this it? This thing's never gonna get any better. So
yeah.
So
well, thankfully it has. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting there. It's but definitely way better than it was. So all good.
Good to have you guys back. So,
yeah, man.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Yep. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. All together, all the damn time. From Michael Romeo, I am Pete Pardo. See you all real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
See you later.